Doug's gotta hit the switch.
Your chair's sitting a little long.
Hey Phil, did you hit the switch?
Yeah.
You didn't turn it on. They're not on?
Barely peeking out.
We're not ready yet.
Okay, good.
Yeah, well, I'm a mark fan. Oh, yeah. All right, you guys ready? Yep. Rebecca. You ready, gentlemen? Okay, welcome. May 9th, 2024, town board meeting at Wood Creek Rise.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're gonna try to go through this business pretty quick here, and then we have public access at the end. All right, gentlemen, the minutes of the previous meeting, April 11th. That's public hearing, April 11th, regular town meeting, and May 6th, 2024, special meeting.
Make a motion to accept.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Reported by elected officials and department head. Town clerk, Rebecca.
All right. So for the month of April, the town clerk's office will be remitting $31,937.23 to the supervisor's office. In rounded amounts, this comes from $3,657 in recycling sales, which consist of $2,923 from the recycling center and $734 from the office. $1,400 in rental fee reservations, that's 7 community center and 2 pavilion reservations. $453 in dog licenses, that's 6 original and 67 renewals. $26,227.50 in miscellaneous fees. That includes $422.50 vital statistics, $400 in peddlers permits, $25,400 in summer youth program camp registrations, and $5 in miscellaneous. From $2,346.43 in DEC sales, our commission is $115.57. So a few notes so far: we have 113 campers registered. Camp runs from July 1st till August 9th. Also, we have free swim lessons. You do not need to attend camp to get the swim lessons, but they are also offered. And we are hoping, our goal is 150 campers this year. Last year we had 142. In April, I attended the New York State Town Clerks Association annual conference, and while I thought it was good, it wasn't as good or educational as the newly elected town official training classes in January, but it was great. Softball, soccer, and youth baseball all celebrated their opening days this month, so best wishes for a great season. Our community yard sale is June 1st in the town hall parking lot from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. June 8th is a rain date. Registration is required to set up a table and reserve your space. You'll bring your own tables. Sign up is at the town clerk's office, and I also have one online. I wanted to give a shout out to the highway department, and we had a resident call about a duck rescue, and so we posted it on social media, and it was nice. It wasn't something, we received a call, and it wasn't something that maybe we would normally do, but in the situation, there was a poor mama duck in distress, so I made a call to Michael and sent out his guys, which happened to be passing by, and they stopped and was able to reunite all the ducks. Also, just a quick note, Brunswick won runner-up for Best Suburb in the 2024 Best of Capital Region from Times Union. A few others, our school district won runner-up, and some of our restaurants and the tattoo shop also won. And also, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice report. I'll make a motion to approve it. Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Highway, Mr. Bailey? How are you, sir?
Well, besides rescuing ducks,
Yeah.
we had a few other things to do. For April, we had brush pickup for 5 men for 18 days, spring cleanup. Just got finished with that the last day. Part of the crew was working doing ditching, 3 men for 6 days doing ditching. Of course, winter patching, they coming open asphalt plants, so we did some patching. We had 5 men for 4 days doing that. We'll get back to it, we're trying to get caught up a little bit before we start into the next. Doing all the gravel roads. And, recycling poles, we had 1 man for 3 days. Crew, two man crews while picking up the paper bags. We had 2 men for 10 days doing that, getting caught up with that. And spring again, so lots out here, mowing ball fields. Part of the town property, all the historical society, cemeteries. He's kind of a 1-man show, he just goes away and makes
Well, by the cemetery today, it looks nice in there.
He just gets it done. I don't have to drive.
Yeah.
Shop work, we had a few days taking files off finally, taking files off, spinning them, sticking them, put away oil, so cleaning all this salt up, kind of preserve. We had 3 men for 4 days doing that. Today we finally got all the banners that we had in the house put back up. 2 men for 1 day doing that. Kevin worked like a crazy man for the last 3 weeks, picking brush up. I worked him too much. He runs everything, runs the crew. I just take 5 guys and give him 3 bucks. But he picked up brush for 3 weeks and he's back to sweeping already today. So we'll finish that up the next day or so. He had 3 men, 5 days over the last month doing that. Board gives me the leeway to go help the ball fields out, and, roll the fields, fix the parking lots, go to the gas. We had 5 men for 2 days, fix the parking lots. And also we're lucky to have a couple of gentlemen that can make the picnic tables and the benches. They spend a week getting all those different things made for the different teams, soccer fields, all those things. They just go down there and say, I need 10 picnic tables, all of a sudden the next day there's 10 picnic tables. So that's Bob Hager does a huge job, he has a big number of workers on it.
Yeah, nice.
That's my report for this month.
Any questions? Entertain a motion for Michael's report.
I'll make it.
And have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Mike, you gotta swing into the dog park. The container's kind of full. I don't know if that falls under highway or not.
That's kind of a personal job for me.
Okay, all right.
I can't quite talk anybody into that.
Yeah, you do it yourself, right? Mr. Golden, Superintendent of Utilities and Inspection.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is the building department report for April, March 2024. Or it should be April, this late April. Your title will say March. Sorry about that. 60 building and property inspections, 331 active building permits, 3,560 were renewed, 9 meetings, 2 planning board meetings, 1 zoning board meeting, 0 court cases, 7 fire inspections, 3 follow-up complaints, 2 follow-up code complaint inspections, 1 code call-out, 9 code complaints, 9 code complaint inspections, 0 vacant abandoned properties identified, 8 planning board projects or agendas, 6 zoning board projects or agendas, and 8 FOIL request searches received. The Sharp Road subdivision is broke ground. They've done a footing inspection there this morning, so they are starting to put housing up there finally
Where's that, Chuck?
on Sharp Road.
That
That
is- oh.
is the one that borders North Green, which are 17 lot development. We have 14 on the Brunswick side, and there's 3 on the North Andover side. So in line, so. And that's the report. Any questions?
Hearing none, entertain a motion for Mr. Golden's report.
I'll make it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Town attorney, Mr. Chauncey.
In this past month, I attended and participated in meetings with staff and outside counsel on various matters in town office or by conference call or remote meeting on April 15, April 16, April 19, April 22, April 23, April 24, April 29, May 2, May 3, May 6, May 7, and May 8 of 2024. I attended and participated in a special town board meeting on May 6, 2024. I also prepared the notice for that meeting, prepared the resolutions pertaining to tonight's regular meeting, and working with outside counsel on several matters, including litigation. I've been working with the building department regarding some pending prospective enforcement matters, and working with the supervisor's office on some personnel matters. Worked with various departments in responding to some outstanding freedom of information law requests. I completed 4 hours of continuing legal education. And as always, I performed legal research, provided legal opinions, and reviewed or prepared legal documents as requested by various town officials and employees.
All right, entertain a motion for Mr. Chauncey's report.
I'll make it.
Tony make it.
I make it.
A second. All in favor? Aye. All right, Ms. Transker, recycling.
Good evening. Recycling report for April. Blue bags purchased at the center, we had 386 at $3 for $1,158. Blue bags purchased from the vendors, 600 for $1,530. Purple bags purchased at the center, 147 at $2 for $294. Baled OCC, 1.5 tons at a penny a pound for $30. Our metal, light iron, and tin, we had 5.63 tons at $100 and $200 a gross ton for $615. Miscellaneous, large and small appliances, we had 20, 1 AC, 1 B humidifier, 35 tires, 1 propane tank for $645, and that gave us revenues of $4,272. General expenses, the refuse landfill, 17.31 tons at $85 a ton for $1,471. Single stream, 11.33 tons at $50 a ton for $566, and that gave us expenses of $2,037. We recycled in landfill for the month of April, 35.77 tons.
Very good. Entertain a motion for Tom's report.
I'll make it. I'll second.
All in favor? Brunswick Community Library, Sarah? About 45 minutes early for you.
I know. I'm here with my trustee, Andrea Winkler. So for the month of April, we've had 2,627 visitors. We answered 403 reference questions. Our Wi-Fi was used by 149 unique visitors, an average of 19 users per day. Our study spaces were used 120 times. Our technology was used 106 times. We processed 17 passports. Our items were checked out 7,904 times, and our programs were attended 841 times. For special events, recently, I would like to thank Laughing Earth. Laughing Earth came by our library on Monday to teach our kids about chickens and eggs, and they brought a chicken and several chicks in. That was very exciting. Yesterday, we had a Play Dragon eye craft. On Saturday, we are having a memoir writing, poetry, and prose class taught by teacher Christine Zacher. If anyone is interested, you do have to call to sign up, 518-279-4023. On May 15th at 2, our herb group is meeting. They're going to do spring planting in our community beds, but they're also having a plant swap. So anyone who's really into gardening, that's going to be a great program. On May 21st, we're going to have a craft supply swap. So anyone who's cleaning out their craft stash, you can come on over and trade craft supplies, save a little money. Anyone who has kids who are really into crafting, adults who are into crafting, come join us for that. On May 22nd, we've got Brunswick Physical Therapy coming by to teach a low back pain workshop. And on June 1st, we have our garden day, which is the same day as the town yard sale. So make sure you visit both. And that is everything I want.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah. Entertain a motion for Sarah's report.
I'll make it. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're on to the resolution. I believe we have two tonight.
Resolution 46 of 2024, resolution of approval to advertise for public bidding Vanderhuyden Dam water main replacement.
I'll offer. Second.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Christian and seconded by Councilman Sullivan. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
And Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted.
That's our dam on our town beach. We're being told it needs to be repaired and fixed. I'm starting to hear numbers upwards of $2 million. Boy, that hurts. I'd rather spend $2 million improving roads, but I understand that's important, but nobody's gonna see the $2 million after we put the dam, I'd rather put it someplace, but it's something we need to do. Okay,
And resolution 47 of 2024, resolution acknowledging receipt of Hoosick Road Corridor Study, final report dated March 2024, and proposing initial actions to commence implementation of the recommendations therein contained. And Supervisor Harrington asked me to read a few of the points, since that's basically the meat of the resolution. Is that this town board acknowledges receipt of the final report of the Hoosick Road Corridor Study dated March 2024 and the recommendations therein contained, and extends its sincere thanks and appreciation to the Capital Region Transportation Council, the New York State Department of Transportation, Region 1, the Capital District Transportation Authority, Creighton Manning, the County of Rensselaer, and the City of Troy, and their officials and employees, as well as the residents of neighborhoods adjacent to the study area, for their diligent efforts in participating in and conducting the study and making the long-anticipated final report of the Hoosick Road Corridor Study dated March 2024 a reality. This town board shall take all appropriate actions to implement the neighborhood traffic calming recommendation as set forth in the final report as soon as reasonably practical. It is noted that the town has already begun efforts to comply with this recommendation. 3, this town board respectfully calls upon and requests the New York State Department of Transportation, Region 1, take all appropriate actions to implement the traffic signal coordination recommendations set forth in the final report as soon as reasonably practical. 4, this town board respectfully calls upon and requests the Capital District Transportation Authority to take all appropriate actions to implement the mid-block bus stop removals recommendation set forth in the final report as soon as is reasonably practical. 5, this town board directs its engineering consultant, Wayne Bonesteel, PE, Foy Albert Associates, to make contact with the Capital Region Transportation Council in the New York State Department of Transportation as soon as reasonably practicable, and formally request that all eligible projects listed on page 50 of 52 of the final report in table 4.1, implementation plan and costs, be considered for state and or federal funding and placed on the local and statewide transportation improvement plan known as TIP, utilizing available and appropriate funding sources.
thank you. Now we can do the roll.
Okay.
Mr. Sipperly would like to offer that, please.
I would like to offer that up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Sipperly and seconded by Councilman Balistrary. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted.
Okay, correspondence? Rebecca, do you have any?
No. No news.
Mike, we're gonna get right into correspondence.
Except for the ducks. The duck story was very, very popular.
Yeah, well, you're right, that helps. Old business, new business at this point, warrants,
I make the motion to pair the. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So we've tried to go through that pretty good, so at this point, I'll open it up to any visitors who wish to comment. Come forward, please.
Good evening.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jennifer Mann, 91 Hill Road. I wanted to first thank Supervisor Harrington and Michael Bailey for getting that dumpster down on Route 2. A couple of us did a trash cleanup for Earth Day, and Mr. Bailey got that dumpster down on the weekend with relatively short notice, and we filled it up. There was a huge furniture and construction debris dump that people had done, and we cleaned up the woods all around that area with there's trails, and we filled that thing up completely. That was amazing. We couldn't have gotten nearly as much done without that dumpster, so thank you. And
We want to thank you for coordinating that,
Oh.
and doing that.
no problem. I wanted to also recognize.
Usually we bring a few bags, but
I know.
when you saw a couch there, I figured a bag wasn't gonna do it. so.
I wanted to acknowledge two residents on Route 2, Michael Testo and Betty Ann Kelly. They went down on their own initiative before the trash pickup time and put all the really heavy stuff in, just the two of them, and they did a fantastic job. And then I just wanted to say that a number of us have been looking at the traffic study that Chick-fil-A did for themselves by GTS Consulting. And a lot of the numbers of projected new trips on Hoosick Road that are projected to be generated by the construction of this new project is staggering. And I just wanted to urge that we would move slowly and thoughtfully and consider again a moratorium on commercial development until we can implement some of the CRTC recommendations, because once we build it, we can't go back. And I just think the traffic is gonna be pretty frightful.
Now, you also mentioned forming a committee. You have the help. The town board is open, of course, to participation. When I talked to you, you were concerned, or not concerned, you mentioned you needed a place to meet. I
Yes,
mean, if you wanted, and you told me you had names,
yeah,
both parties, so it wouldn't be political and all that stuff.
absolutely.
We're more than happy to have you form the committee, and coordinate with Rebecca to use Keys Lane when it's open. And Mr. Sipperly said he would participate. We're happy with that. You mentioned making it a formal committee. I'm not sure what that means or what you need.
It would just be,
I don't know why you need it to be a formal committee, is what I'm saying. But
it would be a resolution just recognizing, and that is within New York State law, that town councils have that ability to form official committees of citizens. It would just make it so that we would be more likely to get meetings with DOT officials and things like that. Like, they're not gonna meet with just regular citizens who say that they just wanna meet.
what I'd rather have happen is the committee have input than have us coordinate and call with the state. Because I would hate that, have different people calling. And I'd rather go through, we got elected, but we're open and we need the help and to listen. And as you mentioned, you might know people on the other side, on both sides of the party that would be able to help with some grants and whatever, I think that's wonderful. So,
That would be fabulous. We'll talk about it. We'll talk with you guys and amongst ourselves, and we'll, let's talk about it further and see where we can go. That would be great. It would be really good to be able to work with you because you have information we don't have, and that would be really helpful. So thank you. Thank
okay,
you.
thanks, Jen. Anybody else at this point?
Tough act to follow, I'm sure. Thank you so much for what she does. My name's Mary Beth Bruno. My address is 102 Wilmette Front, Troy. I mentioned the traffic problems on Blizzard Street. I know everyone's heard about it over and over again. So I just want to make a little statement tonight. I had emailed Supervisor Harrington, the chairs of the zoning and planning committees, that the Troy and Brunswick citizens were going to conduct a traffic simulation on April 26th. And we did do that. So I wanted to get back to you, let you know how that happened. It was a Friday night, and we created a very realistic simulation of what traffic would be if the numbers from the Chick-fil-A application actually come to fruition. 96 cars traveled from their homes, 96 people traveled from their homes from all over Brunswick voluntarily on a Friday night. If you normally would go east on Elizabeth, that's what you did. If you came down, it was conducted over an hour span. Those people that participated would tell you that traffic was even slower than usual, which we all would expect with the numbers that the Chick-fil-A is projecting. This was a really grassroots effort. It was just neighbors talking to neighbors, and everyone said, wow, this is a great idea. Count me in. Where should I be? How should we do this? And I said, just go for a ride and do it within this time period. So we had marked flags so that people could see what was the extra traffic. I don't know if any of you gentlemen participated. If you didn't, I hope you spoke to somebody that did. They will tell you it was really a positive way to bring awareness to a very negative traffic problem that we've had for years. I also wanted to just say that it was really great to see people really care deeply about this problem. I think you hear from one or two of us coming to the podium. This is not where I want to be tonight. Everybody knows there's a problem. We really look to the town council to address it. We've been asking for quite some time. And I'm the kind of person, well, let someone else speak and I'll do whatever you ask me, but I found that at this point in time, it's just time to get involved myself. So that's why you're hearing from me. I would recommend that the town take a pause from commercial development. Clearly we have a problem, that we're building on a problem. Brunswick, what I'm hearing is that we happen to be known for saying yes to anything and any development that comes in. I ask that you uphold our zoning laws as they are in place. Please don't make this problem worse than it already is. Put the citizens and our quality of life first before taxes, before helping another business. Please take care of our own residents. Thank you. Any questions? Did you hear about it?
Yes.
Did you hear about it, Mr. Hinton?
Did we hear about it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The TU published it pretty well.
No, did you hear about it from residents?
From residents?
Yeah, from your neighbors or residents?
Didn't hear from one.
No, okay.
No one said anything to me.
Just curious. Thank you. Well, Mr. Christian, I want to thank you because at the last meeting we did talk about.
Rebecca, you hear anything?
Just a few people asked what the flags were. I didn't know anything about it, so I said maybe it was a funeral happening. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Let's hope not.
I did not know.
But Mr. Christian had said if we had ideas, that we should talk, and it was a great idea, and everybody seemed to think so. And, I think it was really positive. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else at this point?
My name is Andrea Legler, I live at 15 Settlers Lane, and I just want to clarify, I'm speaking as a citizen now, not being on behalf of the library.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I have some concerns about ambulance service in the town. A friend recently had a medical emergency, and it took at least a half an hour for an ambulance to come because I'm told the one and only ambulance we have at a time was in Albany. And I have concerns about if somebody has a true, life-threatening medical emergency, that we don't have adequate ambulance coverage. And I'm wondering, is there a reason the fire departments don't have them, or we could contract for 2 ambulances with Mohawk? Because that seems very risky.
It's a very, very big concern. It's a big concern for the whole county, as you know. We have a public safety committee, Mr. Ballesteri, Mr. Cipperly, that meets, looking at that issue. Mark, where we at? You did some research on that call, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, grab that microphone, please.
so I spoke with Mohawk Ambulance on it. They do participate in our public safety committee meetings. And I asked them to check into the call, which they did, when you and I spoke. And it indeed was 25 minutes, which is almost half an hour. All their ambulances were on other calls. The one from Brunswick was in Mountain View on a call. That came in 10 minutes before this call that we're talking about. So, in speaking with Mohawk, I said I was gonna bring it to the next public safety committee meeting. And I believe anybody that has had concerns with the ambulance will be brought up at that meeting. And Mohawk is present, and they will check it in.
So do we have more than 1 ambulance at a time or no?
It depends. During the day, they have multiple ambulances here, but on weekends, nights and weekends, not as many as they do during the day. So.
I just want to say that even with Eagle Mills Fire Department, it was great. They came, they did the best they could, and then they all stood around looking at each other. And I could tell from the looks on their faces, and I said, does this happen all the time? And they said, lately, yes.
When I talk to Mohawk, they tell me it's getting more and more difficult, like everybody else. They said weekend really tough. People are calling in, their EMTs are calling in. Big issues when they get to the hospital, they can't get unloaded, so they got an ambulance tied up. So we hear all that. Does not help you, because I mentioned over here, the person had to call my dad was up. I mean, even if it was 10 minutes, it seemed like an hour, but it's a big, big issue. When we talk to Mohawk, the number known for 2 ambulances dedicated, over $1 million a year is what they're looking for now. So,
What about getting them to at least one of the fire departments, maybe?
excuse me?
Or what about getting an ambulance for one of the fire departments?
So the Public Safety Committee is exploring what our different options are
Okay.
in addition to Mohawk. And it would take a little bit of time. It's a big process. There's multiple factors that have to be considered. We are still looking at that. And like I said, we're bringing these calls back to the Public Safety Committee and discussing them. So. And there are multiple different other issues too that compound the problem. Like Supervisor Harrington said, the backlog at the hospitals, 2 or 3 hour waits for the ambulances, they can't get back in service. The types of calls the ambulances are going to, that may not be necessary, we're looking at that. Personnel, it's tough, they're all short staffed. It's even worse in the volunteer ambulance service. And like Phil said, it's the entire county and across the nation.
It's scary if you were really, really have a severe life-threatening emergency. That's a long time to wait. So.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We had a couple of these guys that needed them too, so it's not fun waiting, so.
But it is something.
I had said to Mark originally, I'm like, it took an hour for him to get there. He said, well, it was 29 minutes. I'm like, it felt like.
It always feels like long. But yeah, it's not something that we're gonna do. It's still something we're working on, and there's multiple different things we're gonna try.
Yeah, they did dispatch Grafton, but they got there at the same time as Mohawk, so that didn't help either.
I
So,
know. Thank you, we understand, so. Anybody else at this point? Jim?
Good evening.
I'm getting nervous when you get up with a notebook, Jim.
Oh, that's all right. I'm Jim Tachik, 387 Brunswick Road. I think, in response to the Hoosick Road situation, I think we need to step back a little bit and get a rethink on the planning principles. Right? Because right now, it seems to me the planning principles, I hear all the time. Hoosick Road is a commercial zone. Right? We need more and more tax dollars from commercial property. And then we're not able or willing to reject anything that decides that they want to move onto Hoosick Road, right? So the logical extension of this is that both sides of Hoosick Road, the north side of Hoosick Road is all zoned commercial. And that's eventually going to go to commercial properties. Right? We're going to end up with acres and acres of asphalt and concrete on both sides of Hoosick Road. So it's something that we need to reset here. Right? Now, it's good to see that the CDTC project is being considered, but the traffic is only one aspect of this. The other is aesthetics of this. And I'm not talking making some things very truly beautiful. I'm talking about what do you want the town to look like in 10 years, right? Do you want to have a town where all the trees, all the vegetation are cleared out on one side, on both sides of that road? Right? But I think the poster child for like truly atrocious development is the Chick-fil-A. I can't think of a worse thing to put in there, right? For example, the footprint of the Chick-fil-A restaurant and the drive-around canopies and things like that is the size of a football field. Go look at the drawings in the building department. Right? It's going to increase by the traffic study conducted by the Chick-fil-A engineers. It's going to increase the noontime traffic eastbound by 10%. Can we take another 10% traffic increase, right? And there's going to be, at lunchtime, there's 260 cars an hour going to be going into that property, right? That's 4.5 per minute. Every 2 minutes, you have 9 cars going in there, making a lot of left-hand turns and traffic coming across from McChesney. It's just, the intersection just won't be able to handle that, right? So it's good to see that the CDTC things, items are being considered, but these are going to take a long time to implement. And I think we should allow no more development there to see whether they work or not, right? It's one thing to say, well, we're going to try, we're going to remove the bus stops. We're going to the other simpler things. Let's see what effect this has, right? But I think we need a moratorium on the commercial property development on Hoosick Road, and then once things settle down, we can see what we can tolerate, right? But from my understanding, and I talked to the people at the community center, the engineers and the DOT, I'm not sure, yeah, I guess there are people from DOT. These improvements like the traffic light coordination is going to yield on the order of a few percentage improvements. It's not a big quantum leap. The same with all the other items there. You're getting very small improvements, and if Chick-fil-A moves in here, all those are going to be wiped out. All the improvements are going to be buried with the traffic. Right? That was one bit. That's the long term. The short term, I'd like to address a problem concerning the planning board, right? And the problem is not with the planning board. The problem is with the posting of the planning board agendas, okay? The planning board agenda for the second April meeting was posted on the day of the meeting, right? And the agenda for the May 2nd meeting was never posted, okay? And I discussed this with Russ Oster, and he informed me that the town office, somebody in the town office gets this information, and it doesn't get put on the internet, okay, or on the website, all right? Whose job is it to put it on the website?
Well, some of that stuff doesn't come in until the last.
I don't know. Rebecca, I'm off, are we talking websites or
Becky
when you post it, it goes on the
Becky
web?
posts all the agendas.
Yeah, I know that, but it's all on the website.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the
And
16th.
then sometimes they post that they're gonna be here and then they decide that the construction people decide not to show.
No, I'm not talking about changing it, not changing
I will check and see when they're coming in, and I'm not sure if they're coming in, why they're not getting on the website right away.
I'm just saying, Mr. Oster, I
No,
really
I-
trust his operation.
No,
And
I'm saying that if we're receiving them, they should go on the website
Oh,
right
we,
away.
we don't get them till the day of or the day.
We don't get them to that day.
Yeah, sometimes the day of or the
So I
day
can't
just
blame the person
before.
putting them on the website.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that, it's just we get them late.
whose job is it to put it on the website?
We have a young lady that handles the website, but I gotta have them in the office
Yeah,
So it's her responsibility.
once she gets them, right?
Okay, all right.
But
Well,
it sounds like she's putting them on when she gets them, so. But we gotta find out what's going on with the agenda.
yeah, there's different information here though. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, I've been remiss here because I haven't railed against the website yet. This year is my first time. So I just have to remind everybody of my statement a couple years ago that the website is a real dog's breakfast. You know, it's pretty much useless. I think, go get another website, get a proper website. This Del Gazo came when she was the assistant clerk, and she had a very good proposition. She had done some research on finding an appropriate website, something suitable for the town like this, right? And nothing's been done on it like that. I've got a feeling if she was given some freedom to do this, and I have full confidence in her. She showed a lot of initiative, and she's very resourceful, and she's competent. And I think if she's given a proper website and control of it, I think these problems are going to go away. And I think I think we owe her the support to do this. Right? And the town board. I'm not sure what special skills that the other person in the town hall has to put things up on the website. Right? I think
More and more people are looking at social media, their websites and so on, so it's more and more important. I hear you.
okay. All right, thank you very much.
I stopped the Stewarts before I came here and met a gentleman in there. I never called him a great supporter, but he said to me, Phil, listen, 20 years ago, I heard you say, 20 years ago, that Route 7 was going to be your commercial corridor, and you're going to try to keep commercial off of Route 2, and you're going to try to keep the town of Brunswick, the rest of it, the best you can, rural, with rolling hills, so on and so on. He said, what's going on here? I mean, I heard you 20 years ago. The problem is there's more and more traffic. I mean, the interstate part of it, we're told, Route 7 traffic is going to get heavier and heavier. We know it. And you're saying, why add to it? I understand. But the interstate part, we know it's going to get heavier and heavier. Chick-fil-A, I'm not saying I only went there once in my life, but I was over in North Greenbush on Saturday. My wife and myself went over. I didn't believe it, so I made sure she looked out the window. 20 after 12, there was one car in the parking lot. I was up in Clifton Park last week. It was 3 cars in their parking lot, quarter to 1. So you're right, when they open, it's like that donut place that opened in Latham. I was in line there for 24 hours trying to get a dozen donuts and they went out of business. So you're right. I don't know if they open this. Now, I want people to understand this because my wife asks me all the time, so I have to explain it to her. She's watching tonight, so I gotta make sure I explain it better. But we have zoned that Route 7, that corridor commercial. What happened by being zoned commercial, when the businesses come, like a Chick-fil-A, or any other one, my wife said, tell that business we don't want them, we want a nice steakhouse or something else. Once it's zoned commercial, it's commercial. So they have the legal right to apply to go there. And what happens then they go to the planning board and they do their studies, the traffic studies, the stormwater, this. And if they hit all the criteria, we can't say, no, we don't want you. We'd rather have another business. So, you can change the zoning on that stretch, maybe. But I also have people that live in those houses where the Chick-fil-A is gonna go. And they told me, Mr. Harrington, we've lived there, some of them their whole life. You think we want to continue living here to have our grandchildren over on this front lawn? We don't want to be here. We don't want to leave Brunswick. But you're going to take our property values away and just say we can't do anything? So, it's a tough call. And I mentioned before, and I'll mention again, when I talk to these businesses, I said, please go out the road here. We got a lot of room. And everyone, no, I want to be from Walmart, Walgreens. That's where the traffic is. That's where we want to go. So it's a challenge. I mean, I call that a small area, but I hear you. I mean, that's where the pressure is. And that's where the tough part, but that's where everybody wants to be. And that's commercial. Are we ruining the town of Brunswick? I don't think so. I talked to a gentleman up on Winfield Estate the other day. Never met him. Came in for some topsoil. His father bought a house next to him up there. And he said, I don't have trouble with my road. But as you know, Winfield has a lot of issues with the road with the other neighbors. But he said, I love it up here. It's a rolling hills of Brunswick. I said, well, it's not rolling too good here on Route 7, but I have to represent the whole town. And that's what I'm hearing, So I know that's a challenge. We know it's a challenge. But, people think we can say, we don't want Chick-fil-A, go away, let's get an Panera or something like that in here. But if they apply, they go through the concept, and if they hit all the criteria, which they gotta prove they can, then we can't say no. So that's what's going on at this point. Anybody else? Well, that'll fire up 20 people to come up, so.
I'm Debbie Lajeunesse. I live at 1025 Wilson Road, kind of across the street. I just want to say, I'm going on what I was talking about, our ride a couple of Fridays ago. I did participate in that ride, and it took me 17 minutes to go from Walmart to Walgreens and back to Walmart. I do think that traffic lights cause traffic. I think rotary or roundabout is a great idea. I just don't know how much real estate you need to get the big 18-wheelers.
They said they would have a problem
And a lot of, it needs a lot
on
of.
Lord Avenue, but not a problem up here.
But yeah, so there's still the traffic is a problem. I just want to mention that. Thank you.
And you're right, I've been many times in the middle of the day at Walgreens. I come out, I hit that stoplight, I go up, I look at my watch, and it's 10 minutes before you hit Walmart, and then it opens up. Now, I'm not coming up the hill, I'm not saying that. But from that stretch, it's taking me maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Is that a long period of time? Maybe. Being in a car for 10 minutes. Maybe if you got your kids in there, you say, put the damn radio down or cell phone down, and talk to me for 10 minutes, for that little stretch. I don't know. But you're right, it's a 10-minute congestion at this point. 15. Is that a long period? I was up in Clifton Park, I was relying a lot longer. It's tough. Traffic is tough all over. Anybody else? I didn't want a short night by talking here.
This should be pretty quick. Sue Ray Tolan's 10 Miller Road. So,
I'm sorry, where are you?
10 Miller Road,
Miller.
the Spring Ave extension.
Yep.
Okay, so first of all, I have, you want to increase taxes by having a commercial zoned area. I live on, the other side. I don't shop on Hoosick Street. I just go and deal with the traffic. So it's, for people maybe on that side, Widenskill, North Greenbush is closer and more convenient than me coming over here and spending a lot of time driving up Hoosick Street. Even when I was working at Samaritan, I had to go to Price Chopper. I dreaded it coming up Hoosick Street. I'd go to Hannaford and Widenskill. So I understand the push and pull about wanting taxes, wanting, having commercial ventures. But I think there are probably people in other parts of Brunswick that avoid this section of town.
And so you might not be getting as much commercial, and like as many taxes as you think. The other thing I wanted to ask was I appreciate you bringing the resolutions here for the traffic study and saying what you're gonna do. My question is, what is the follow-up to the town, to the people? So monthly, will we get an update on which resolutions have been acted upon of those bulleted points that Rebecca read out? How do we stay informed about where the actions are with where we are with those implementation actions?
We can, it's gonna be a slow process there when we're dealing, trying to improve things. You say you don't shop there. I have many people that tell me that nobody enjoys traffic, but a lot of people tell me they understand the time and they keep away from it. But our sales tax, now, I might be wrong, so I don't want to be a Trump here and say bad numbers. But I believe I'm hearing our sales tax went up 400,000 in the last 3 or 4 years. But I do know the total sales tax that we get is $2 million. Now, somebody's shopping down there. It might not be you, but for $2 million, the sales tax and our total budget's only 10. So that's why 23 out of 29 years they can hold the line. Now, I also at the farm, Sunday I go over the top of the mulch, so everybody comes in, because I got a line of 10 people because I talk too much. But Pittstown just did a revaluation up there, and you ought to hear the people from Pittstown. They got hammered on taxes, and they said, move that Route 7 up here. We'll sit in the car for 10 or 15 minutes. Our taxes are killing us. And I'm not saying you get quality of life, sales tax, I mean, I understand that, but that's the trade-off that we struggle with, so. Anybody else?
I don't know, we're about to go twice.
Okay.
I will be quick. I just wanted to give you gentlemen a perspective, I don't know if you realize this, but the proposed Chick-fil-A on Central Avenue is going on at the same time, here it's going on in Lincoln as well. Specifically on Central Avenue is the exact same size that is proposed here in Brunswick. And that astonishes me. I hope that's not what we want for Brunswick to be like a Central Avenue, please. You talked about the zoning laws, and you have the power to change them, but we also have the power not to approve variances. I think the town's made repeated mistakes in approving variances because once it's done for one commercial property, it sets the stage for the next, and so on and so on. But I want to tell you one little story that I hope you'll go home tonight and think about. At the town open house, when the engineers came and talked to everybody and we walked around the room, I met a gentleman, asked him where he lived, and he was from West End Lake. And I asked, why are you here? You feeling sorry for us? But he owned some property on this side, so that's why he was here. But anyway, I commented on him, how beautiful West End Lake is. And he said West End Lake also is going through growing pains. You're not the only one. Everyone's familiar with the Four Corners, Miller's Market, now Hannaford. On those corners, they've got the Dunkin' Donuts, they have McDonald's, they have a Walgreens. But when you go through those four corners, or you're waiting at that traffic and intersection, you don't feel like you're in a busy commercial area like you do when you're on Hoosick Street. It was very well thought out, and he told, and I said, how did this come about? He told me that there was one member on their town council who was adamant that the signage and the way those properties were going to be built and designed would stay within the atmosphere and the climate that they wanted for their small town. Brunswick has the ability to do that. It might require changing some of our zoning. We got nothing but time. I don't know why we wouldn't have done it before now. We know that we're going down the wrong path as far as our development. So I just hope that's something you'll think about long term. We've got recommendations that I don't think we're taking. But it can be done. I think Brunswick is a small town. We all want to keep it that way. And I have to disagree with you that Route 7, Hoosick Street, impacts all of Brunswick. It's the center of town, whether we like it or not, but you can avoid it, but it's still the center of our town. And when people think of Brunswick, they think of Hoosick Street, and it's a negative image that we have, that we shouldn't have, because Brunswick is beautiful. But we shouldn't have to drive so far north or south to get away from Hoosick Street. We should love every part of Brunswick.
Thank you.
Hello, Kim Jensen, 14 Roberts Drive, and I just wanted to speak about the traffic. That's why I'm always here, you know, at this point. You had said anecdotally that you had been to the North Greenbush Chick-fil-A and there was one car. But Chick-fil-A's numbers that they are giving to the town, and this is mostly for the benefit of people here, I assume you all know what the numbers say. They're saying Saturday midday entering is 142 cars. So I think that would also add a level of concern if already Chick-fil-A in North Greenbush is having problems where they're not able to generate the 142 cars. Are we just gonna have another dead building there like we do in some of the other plazas? So I think that would be potentially an additional concern if they're telling us they're gonna generate all this traffic, we're gonna see the county tax go up, we're gonna see the percentage go up, we're gonna get a little bit more money. But if they're not gonna be able to maintain that, why do we want to bring a business that is apparently not sustainable to our town? Especially when it doesn't match with the character of the town like we've been talking about. You know, we've got these beautiful neighborhoods. We want families to be here, but we do also need that more commercial district, that it should still be about the town of Brunswick and that we are a beautiful, wonderful town full of wonderful people. So, just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what the numbers actually are, and that might be a concern if the Chick-fil-A is not generating the traffic that they say they are. It's great from the traffic side, but from the tax side, it's less than optimal.
I also want to buy when they're first open and they're
Oh,
policing on it. What a mess.
yeah, and the numbers that they're giving in their engineering report are not about those
And
first
for weeks
6
afterwards,
weeks.
they're
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
work.
those reports are about, a year down the line. They're not about, the first 6 weeks where, you gotta have the police out there directing traffic. I think we just saw North Greenbush and Clifton Park. And the other item with that is that the Clifton Park one, they're already in a huge shopping center. I mean, there's the mall, there's multiple strip malls over there. They're kind of already set up for that kind of traffic, where this is backing up on a neighborhood. And I think that that's also a concern, that it just might not be the right location on Route 7. And I know you said, please move closer down the Route 7 there, so that we're not packing everybody in there. And I know we don't have complete control over that, but I do think we need to think about the negative impact to the character of the town, and to those neighborhoods where we want people to live. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Bridget McGrath, 620 Pineville Ave. I wanted to follow up on my request from last town meeting about the vacant property fees. And I just want to know what the ruling is when a person who purchases a home, when they get notified of a vacant property fee. When are they supposed to be notified that their property that they just purchased is on the list?
I don't have the local law with me tonight. It's not an agenda item, so I didn't know that this was gonna be raised. I mean, we could look in the local law, but I don't know what it says right now.
I had all the bullets at one point, from our assessor, but I don't have them with me.
This is public access, and, you can say what you want, but it's not the place to get a problem resolved.
So if I come to,
Or you call the assessor and ask her, she knows.
okay, well, I did ask her that, she didn't.
I know they had problem before, but maybe it's better now. I mean, when you communicate it.
Yeah, okay, so how do I find that out? Ask the assessor?
Call and talk to her again and ask her your questions.
Okay,
All
right, because I just wanted to be known that we did not for 10 months know that our home was on the vacant property list that we did purchase.
Yeah.
So I think that that's something that needs to be addressed with the town procedures and checks and balances, so that people are aware.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Anybody else at this point? Well, I'll give you my feeling here. I'm not gonna get around to the applause, but the issue of imposing a moratorium on all commercial development on the Hoosick Road corridor has been raised by some members of the public at several past meetings. The purpose of such a moratorium would be to halt all commercial development while the traffic patterns on Hoosick Road corridor are studied and recommendations made to improve the conditions. However, through the work of the town board in obtaining grant money, the traffic and the infrastructure, as well as existing development and other conditions along the Hoosick Road corridor have already been studied. A draft report has been issued, public comments solicited and received, and a final report was received. The report contains a significant amount of traffic-related information, analysis, and recommendation. Additionally, traffic and travel-related conditions along this corridor have also been studied and considered in recent years in the context of other commercial development, including the Hanover project. In light of this, I do not see the need, and I'm not in favor of, taking the drastic step of imposing a moratorium on all commercial development at this time. This is especially so when weighted against the potential devastating effect that the moratorium could have on our tax base and our sales tax revenue. With a moratorium, businesses already operating in the corridor, which fail in a normal course of events, if that happens, they have to sit there empty, vacant. And if we halt commercial development on our primary commercial corridor, it may well have the unintended effect of encouraging such development in other parts of the town where it was not so enthusiastically intended as it was in the comprehensive plan. So I have individually discussed the imposition can't read my writing here, of a moratorium with each town board member, one-on-one. I talked to all of this board, and not one has expressed any interest in a moratorium in that section. So at this point, I'll ask the town board if they wish to pursue the adoption of a moratorium on commercial development on Hoosick Road.
I don't.
I'm not asking for a vote like that. There's none on the board. Accordingly, the town board would not move forward with the imposition of a moratorium on all commercial development in the Hoosick Street corridor at this time. We are confident that as a result of all these studies I mentioned, we have the information we need to get started on making some changes that was recommended in the Capital Region Transportation Council report that are within our authority and our town roads. We also intend to make continued outreach to New York DOT to make physical changes, improvement on Hoosick Road itself, and improve the traffic condition. Mr. Bonesteel, who was mentioned, engineer, he has a lot of connections. He's the one that helped us get the largest grant that was available, $100,000 to study that, which the town put in $10,000 of the $100,000. Wayne has some good contacts. As you heard tonight, we're going to have him reach out and contact people. I mentioned Jennifer. She mentioned to me she could know some people that would know the assemblymen and senators that might not listen to me, might listen to her, help us with this. Carmela, I talked to her. She has a good connection with the politicians, and we just got to take sections of that and see if we can make some of these improvements or recommendations. But to do a moratorium and say just stop that section what's left, we're not in favor of doing that at this point. So. That being said, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.